All right, welcome to a new YouTube video, and in today's video, I'm going to be taking you through how to find, hire, train, and manage appointment setters. And for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Bastiaan. I run appointmentsetter.com. So you can say by that name, it's definitely my specialty. And over the last few years, I've been able to place over 3,000 setters, as well as help many of my clients scale to 7 and 8 figures a year. And also I've been able to hit 500K and even $1 million a month with my own coaching company using appointment setters. So it's safe to say I know a thing or two about appointment setters, and that's what I'm going to be taking you through here today. So first, we're going to be covering finding setters, and I'm going to talk from what I advise as well as my own experience. So first, what I advise, if you want to find really good appointment setters, you first have to understand your own business and the opportunity you're able to provide to certain talent. Because look, the truth is that most appointment setters that are really good only want to get into opportunities where they can make at least a certain amount of money per month, number one. And second, that have a good reputation, so that the company has a good reputation themselves by providing good client results, the way they brand themselves. And that's one key factor that you want to make sure you're equipped with before you start sourcing people. So when you are doing at least, I would say 20K per month, and you're willing to offer a base pay to an appointment setter of at least 1K to 1.5K per month, you should be able to attract 6.5 to 7 out of 10 talent. And most of them do, of course, have an ability and capability to turn into an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 over time with training and the right foundation. Now, the question is, where do you find these people? So the best place I've found that setters that I've hired to turn into big assets for the company is, number one, your own student community. Why? Because they've gone through the product themselves, they believe in what they're selling, they believe in you, and with that, hunger arises, and also the fact that I really want to go the extra mile for you. That's what I've experienced myself, because my best setters have also been my best students in terms of work ethic, implementation, consistency. So my best setters, their names were and still are, of course, George, Casper, Samir, Tom Reese. So guys, if you're watching this, props to you. And they've all gone through like a product that I still actually run to this day, which is my B2B offer. At the time, it's called 6-Figure Consultant. So your own community, start there first. That's number one. Second, use your own reach that you have. So if you have an email list, if you have an Instagram, if you have a Facebook group or profile, do a job post there, because it also ties back into the same principles in regards to that the people know you, they know your brand, they know the client results you're getting, etc., etc. So the second best place is your own community and your own brand. I'd say the third place would be Facebook groups. That's too where I got a lot of talent from. So that's the third place I would say. And if you're unable to find a good setter without these three mediums, you can also scavenge through other platforms. But to be quite frank, you're probably going to be just better off going to like a website like findasetter.com or just paying someone for recruiting, which is what me and my company do as well. So those four should be enough, ideally just the first one or two, to get you an A player. So that's how to find them and how I've done it myself. My best talent, really, again, just to recap, has always come from my own student community, my own client community. So that's how to find them. Now let's talk about hiring them. So I think that's a really interesting topic, because there's so many ways you can go about it. And the way I recommend you get setters on board is that you have a clear trial process, that you have a good structure where they can make a certain amount per month, as you want the setter to do a good job for you and be incentivized from the get-go with a good financial foundation as to what they can make. So what I recommend is this: do a 7-day trial, and if they pass the 7-day trial at a base in month 1, I'd recommend 1K. I'd say if they can make enough from the commissions, you can remove it in month 2. However, if that's not the case, I would up it in month 2 to 1,250, and then in month 3, 1,500. And eventually, when the commissions pick up, I would gradually either decrease the base with half or fully remove it. But of course, do this timely and in alignment with the appointment setter, so they stay motivated and their morale doesn't get damaged. So that's what I recommend with hiring setters. And of course, I skipped a step here because we should be talking about interviews. So going one step back here, interviews. So really, for me, I'm able to hire a setter, of course, due to my experience, in less than 15-20 minutes, right? By just seeing certain boxes that I want to be ticked. And really what you want to look for in an interview is this: that are willing and able to have at least 250 conversations per day. Second, that you can really see by the way they communicate and carry themselves, that they're hungry, right? That's the second big trait I look for, hunger. I'd say number 3, it would be doing a role play over Zoom chat so you can actually see how they write and how they go about handling certain objections. Because it's one thing to really present yourself well over Zoom and make impressive statements and make a good impression. That's important, but what's more important is how they're going to be executing and representing you in practice. So what I always like to do is to just do like a quick role play where you are the lead in the inbox. You come on with the type of questions you're getting from leads right now. You let the candidates basically lead the conversation as a setter. 10 touch points in, you can say a lot about, whether you like this approach and your skill set, if it's even good enough, before you even want to put them into a trial, right? So those are the biggest things that I look out for. There's a lot more nuance to it, of course, guys, but I'm going to keep it high level here, and really the things that I think that if you're going to be able to hire a really good setter without even understanding a lot of the nuance, and really just like the core pillars that you want to make sure you take. If you do, however, want to get like more nuance, I have a free course called Scaling with Setters. It's in my school community. Just go to the description, you can join, go through it, it's free. Now, when it comes down to hiring as well, the last piece to it, because I went over the payment structure based on what I would hire them, as well as what the trial duration should be. But furthermore, also what's really important is that they have a strong foundation. So when they come on, you want to make sure they've got clear-cut KPIs, that they have a good daily workflow, that they have a CRM, that they have a reporting system, that they have a good follow-up system, and really that you, combined with your skill set, you set them up in a good foundation. And of course, we factor into that your marketing is at least decent and you're getting leads in. If they have this, success is really inevitable, right? So that is how to hire the setters. Now, let's talk about training them. So what I like to do is the following. So of course, first, we give them the foundation, right? Now, as they are in practice, executing and booking in calls, what I like to do is the following. I like to quality check the conversations at least 5 to 7 times per day. That's one. So quality checking the conversations is seeing how they're leading the conversation, how they're advancing it, how they're handling objections, and all these things, right? So really just quality checking the skill set and the execution. That's one. Second, what I deem as equally, but like a little bit less important, is the quantity of conversations. So that would be just scrolling through the inbox, seeing how many conversations they're having, and if they're on pace to hit the KPI that you set out for them to achieve, right? So that's what I like to do. And then third, I like to do 1 or 2 daily Zoom huddles throughout the week so we can work on the recurrent weaknesses that I spot when I'm quality checking through conversations, right? And then as I quality check the conversations, I like to provide feedback over Slack to make sure that, they improve, and you really want to make sure it's constructive and not that you take a screenshot and it's emotional because you get triggered by them maybe burning the lead, right? I've done it myself and it's not a good practice for many reasons. But back to the point here, that's what I would do in terms of QCing and training them. It doesn't have to be anything complex, just those 2 pillars, right? It's basically you're coaching your own setter on their skill set and what you want them to achieve as a leader in your organization, right? So that is, we just covered finding, hiring, training. Now, when it comes down to managing them, this really comes down to the tracking side of things. So we track a couple of metrics. So we track the amount of outbound conversations that we're having per day, or messages they send up per day. So for us, it's 100 to 150. Second, the amount of follow-ups they do. So for us, that's 200 to 300. Inbound, this depends on your marketing and how strong that is. Usually, you should be able to drive, ideally per 5,000 followers, 10 leads per day through the stories, even some more with clients, and you can use it as a rule of thumb on what I think is a good baseline for about marketing. So we just went over outbound, follow-ups, inbound, and then of course calls per post. Now, if you have these KPIs, I'd say a good amount of calls per post. So that's basically, in all these conversations, you have a small spot of opportunity where you advance the conversations and you propose a call to, and that should ideally be 7 to 10 per day. And then 40% of those proposed calls should convert into meetings in the same day, right? So guys, if you use this very simple, strong, powerful foundation for setters, you're going to be able to have a good asset added onto your team. And that's really high level how you want to go about finding, hiring, training, and managing appointment setters. Now, if you want to get a more in-depth and a lot of visuals and tracking systems I use as CRMs,
You can go to the school community. I've got one in the description down below. You can join in, it's free. And then you can go to the classroom once you're approved. Check out Scaling with Setters. I've got like a in-depth breakdown and visuals and examples and a lot more value that I share in there. But if you're, looking this up on YouTube, you want to get an understanding of, how to do this, here's the understanding. And of course, if any questions, feel free to drop a question in the comments down below and I'll get back to you. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll be seeing you in the next one.